last night I was watching some kids kind of just goof around with the ball. They weren't goofing. They're just kind of screwing around while they're waiting for their parents to stop talking in their little team meeting. And they're a very talented group of kids, but during this wasteful time, I thought, like, hey, I'm going to go show them a move, something that's hard, but looks hard, but it's actually easy to accomplish. So I show them it. It's just one of my modified one-footed rainbows, and it looks more difficult than it is, but it definitely takes work. So I show them it, and they're like, oh, they just like, we can't do that or whatever. I'm like, it's actually easier than you think. So I kind of broke it down, and as I'm breaking it down, 5 of the kids, and there's a total of 11 there, 5 take off, and they're just decide to juggle, do something that's, very easy. And then there was the remaining 6, they were like trying to do it. And one kid was asking me, how do you do that? Show me how. And, so I showed him how. And then I had Jack and Nathaniel who knew how to do it to start teaching the ones that couldn't how to do it. So I just kind of observed for a little bit, and I just got annoyed about those 5 kids. They're just goofing around and whatever. So I went to them, and I was trying to teach them a lesson. I told them, like, listen, you guys are very, very, very talented right now, but the fact that you're not willing to learn this shows me something. It shows me what you're going to be in the future. It's already predetermined in my book. If you don't want to learn everything possible in the game of soccer, you're not going to advance, and you're going to be those players that were good that got surpassed by everybody, because there's a huge population of people that want to get better, and they're going to get better. Why are you wanting to stay the same? So I kind of put some message like that out to them, and then I left. So one decided, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that, and I just kind of sat back and observed, and the other 4 are like, nah, we're just going to juggle and goof around. Well, that 5th person, one of the players that left the 4 went and tried it, was goofing around with it, and then went back to his group because he's kind of like, I want to hang out with them. And long story short, the ones that stayed learned it, and they got all excited they could do it and all that stuff. And then it kind of sparked the interest of the other kids because they heard, them screaming because they finally pulled it off, and they went to learn again, and they're like, nah, it's too hard, and went back. So I wrote down their numbers, like their jersey number, because I want to remember them, because they're on my son's team. I'm like, I'm gonna document them and see what happens to them later in life. It'd be interesting, but we see it all the time. You're like, these kids were amazing in middle school and high school, and then there's always a few that just were good, but not good as everybody else. But their work ethic took them past that. We see it time and time again. People that have it, that have to work to catch up with the elite players at the time. But as they fully mature and they become fast and they become bigger and they, match up that way, their work ethic stays the same. The ones that are already good and are already having early success, they don't work as hard, versus the ones that they're good, but they're not good as them, and they're trying to aspire to be good as the ones that are above them, develop a work ethic. There's a whole work ethic component that has to happen. That's why you got to keep advancing your kids and remind them what it takes to become successful. And work ethic is a huge indicator. So I'm going to keep track of these kids and see what happens to them. They're very talented, but they're not willing to learn that, willing to make mistakes and try something that's hard. They just rather just do what they're doing, and they won't be successful, I guarantee it, unless somehow I can get through to them and convince them that what they're doing is not cool. They have to learn to love failure. They're just never going to make it. And that's my thoughts today. Peace out.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.